My name is Bill Jones. I'm with recapturefederalism.com and also operationofficialmisconduct.com. What does the Judeo-Christian value system, the moral code, say about soldiers? And I would include in soldiers public officials, law enforcement, supervisors, police chiefs. What does it say about it? We have a clue in Luke 3, verse 14. And the soldiers also asked him, saying, What shall we do? And he said to them, Do not molest any man, and do not accuse any man. Your own wages should be enough for you. And saying that was not Christ, but it was John the Baptist. That's the moral code. In all these instances that I've been talking about and continue to talk about, what did the soldiers and the law enforcement, what did they do? In 1985, we have another incident, and in Philadelphia, there's a group that was known as MOVE. It was a liberation group founded by John Africa. All the members had changed their names, their last name to Africa. And the police had some problems with them, and there were some violations of the law. There were some indictments. There was, then in 1985, and that was in the 70s, into the 80s. In 1985, a search warrant was issued. Indictment had come down on some members of this group. They lived in row house, residence in row house in Philadelphia. In 1985, they are going to execute a search warrant and try and apprehend these people. What happened, though, was that there was some firing back and forth, shots fired. But then the police dropped bombs on the house from a helicopter, a police helicopter. And the explosion and the ensuing fire killed 11 people, including 5 children and the group's leader, John Africa. Only 2 occupants survived. Now, whatever happened prior to the dropping of the bomb may have been legitimate, and probably was legitimate. But why drop a bomb in a city on a residence which is connected to other row houses? Not only were 11 people killed, some of them children, but also 60 other row houses had also been ignited by the fire. So you had other people, innocent people, having nothing to do with this incident or the MOVE organization and the MOVE group. Nothing to do with the police. There was no search warrants on for them. They hadn't done anything wrong. Innocent civilians. Their homes, their residences, burnt down to the ground by this. And what happened? Well, first of all, there was no one from the city government was charged with any criminality, which is amazing. There was a lawsuit and a $1.5 million payout by the city of Philadelphia to the survivor and relatives of 2 people killed in the bombing. And this is interesting. This is what it says here. The jury found that the city used excessive force and violated the members' constitutional protection against unreasonable search and seizure. Philadelphia was given the name at that point, quote, the city that bombed itself. So it's what happens after the search warrants. Some of them, with affidavits that are false and those things. It's the reaction, and it's the action against the citizens, which are psychological warfare against all the citizens by violating the constitutional protection against individuals. And now that brings us to the primary subject I want to talk about: psychological warfare and how this plays out. Psychological warfare is defined by the U.S. Department of Defense. Down here in this paragraph, the planned use of propaganda and other psychological actions having the primary purpose of influencing the opinions, emotions, attitudes, and behavior of hostile foreign groups in such a way as to support the achievement of national objectives. You notice the word hostile foreign groups. It's a very short line between hostile foreign groups and domestic groups that a political party supremacist group, such as the two political parties and the two-party system we have, to take tax money and have law enforcement and or the United States military, the Homeland Security, to use psychological warfare, psych ops, against citizens of the United States, residents of the United States. These incidents that I'm talking about and will be talking about, Wounded Knee, Japanese internment. Interesting to use the term Japanese internment. 62% of the Japanese Americans that were interned were United States citizens. It's really American or Japanese American internments. They interned American citizens in World War II. The Philadelphia Move organization, whatever they did, it may have been wrong, and it didn't deserve to be bombed from helicopters by law enforcement. That's psychological warfare. Ruby Ridge and Waco, people being killed and executed on the spot. That's psych ops. They're trying to intimidate other people. There was no reason for any one of these incidents. Not one reason to have them to the point of the execution of American citizens. And in the case of the Japanese Americans, those internment camps, in effect, were political prisons. They were taken out of their homes, no trials, no constitutional rights were afforded them, and taken away from their homes to other states, to other areas, and forced to be there duration of the war. Propaganda is used. People, the Main Street media. Why do they do that? Oh, well, that's why they do it. They're part of a propaganda system. They're in with the regime. The regime. It always happens. Where was the press with Stalin? Where was the press with Hitler? Where was the press with Mussolini? Where was the press over in Japan with the emperor? Where's the press over in China? They're always with the people that are in power because that's how they maintain their power. That's why we have the term in the First Amendment of free press. Well, because if you have free press, you don't have propaganda. This psychological warfare, intimidation, propaganda, it goes back all the way. You can look back in the Bible, and that's where it's at too. It's been going on from the start of mankind, and we're supposed to avoid it with the Constitution. And that's where the exceptionalism of America is in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, even the Articles of Confederation we had for about 10 years. That's where we have it. That's the problem. And the psychological warfare used against the citizenry, that's all official misconduct. Taking money, and using it for these things. That's official misconduct. And by the way, official misconduct is a felony. It's a crime. All these incidents I'm talking about, not one person went to jail or was even charged and tried for all these mass murders and this psychological warfare. There was a charge for the sniper in the case of Ruby Ridge. Was finally dropped. The charges were dropped. Where's the justice? Where's the upholding of the constitutional rights of the citizens?